I know what people think of me. They think I'm broken or dangerous. They don't understand. I'm not a monster. I'm a good boyfriend. I first saw her outside the pharmacy on Oak Street. She was carrying a paper bag and scrolling through her phone. She bumped into someone, dropped the receipt. I picked it up for her. She smiled. Just a little smile, but it stayed with me. It meant something. It had to. I trailed her home that evening. Not to be creepy, just to make sure she got there safe. She walked with music in her ears, barely looking around, so unaware. Anyone could have hurt her. She needed someone to look after her. That's what boyfriends do. Her name is Madison. I learned that from the label on the pharmacy bag. Madison Gray. Nice name. Clean, warm. She lived in a little brick townhouse near the park, Unit 4B. I walked past it 3 times that night. The curtains were closed, but the lights were on. She was home, safe. That should have been enough, but it wasn't. At first, I only watched from across the street. A car, a bench, a shadow. She always kept the same routine. Work, coffee shop, home. She'd heat up microwave dinners and binge true crime shows. Ironically, on Tuesdays, she watered her plants. On Thursdays, she did laundry. On Sundays, she took long showers and sang to herself. I like that. That was ours. She just didn't know it yet. I broke in for the first time a few weeks later. She left for work at 8:15 sharp. Took a lift. Didn't lock the door. That wasn't safe. I didn't take anything. Didn't mess anything up. I just wanted to look around. Her couch was soft. Her throw blanket smelled like lavender. I sat for a while, imagined her curled up next to me, watched a few minutes of her show before I left. It felt right. Like I belonged there. Eventually, I stopped leaving. I'd be inside when she got home, tucked behind furniture or crouched in closets. She never noticed. Sometimes I'd crawl under her bed and listen to her breathing. Other times I hid in the kitchen cabinet. Once I fell asleep inside her laundry hamper. She walked right past me, brushing her teeth, humming her little songs. She was beautiful, radiant, mine. There were close calls. Once she paused mid-step, sniffing the air. Another time, she stared too long at the half-used coffee cup I'd forgotten in the sink. She mumbled, weird, and kept moving. She never really saw me, but I saw her. Every inch. I watched her stretch before bed, read on the toilet. I knew which side she parted her hair, which lotion she liked, what time she scratched her thigh in her sleep. I knew her intimately. I started leaving her little things. A rose on the nightstand, a chocolate on her pillow. One morning, I laid out her favorite sweater and leggings. She wore them. That meant something. The accident happened on Tuesday. Last Tuesday. I was cooking dinner. Chicken parmesan. I'd set the table. Candles, napkins, 2 plates. I was so excited to finally introduce myself. She came home early, walked in, and dropped her purse and froze. Eyes locked on mine. What the fuck? I smiled, held up the plate. I made your favorite. She screamed, grabbed a lamp and threw it at me. I tried to calm her down. I told her I loved her, that I'd been here for weeks, that I knew her. She ran for the door. I chased her. I grabbed her arm. She slipped. Her head hit the corner of the countertop hard. The sound was horrible, like cracking a frozen watermelon. She didn't move. Blood leaked from her temple, down her cheek into her ear. Her eyes were open. I froze, stared. I tried to lift her up. She was heavier than I expected. I carried her to bed, tucked her in. I whispered that everything would be okay, that we were just having a fight. She'd get over it. She'd always been so quiet anyways. I kissed her cheek. still warm. She didn't eat for days, didn't speak. I read to her, brushed her hair, told her jokes, but she just lay there, still, silent. She must have been mad. The smell started on day 5. I sprayed her with perfume, lit candles, opened windows. At night, I'd curl up beside her. I didn't mind the cold. Love keeps you warm. I told her about my day, about the shows I watched. I told her I forgave her for screaming. She didn't know what she was doing. People panic when they're overwhelmed by love. One morning, I woke to find her hand had fallen off the bed. Stiff, blackened fingers. I gently tucked it back under the covers. I told her she needed to rest, that she looked tired. She didn't blink. Eventually, I knew it had to end. Even the best relationships can go sour. I told her I was leaving, that I'd always remember her. She didn't say anything, but her jaw had been open for days, so maybe she was trying. I packed my things and left the next morning. I walked home, turned on the TV, and there she was. Madison Gray, 29-year-old, found dead in her apartment. They said there were no signs of forced entry, no witnesses. A photo of her smiling filled the screen. God, she looked beautiful. The reporter called it a tragedy, said the killer was still out there. I sat on the couch, shaking my head. This world, I muttered. This world is full of sick people. I look at her face again. If I had stayed, maybe I could have intervened. Maybe you wouldn't have gotten killed. I wiped a tear from my cheek. But it's too late now. And even though I'll always remember you, I smiled. I found someone new. Her name is Amy. She works at the coffee shop near my building. She smiled when I ordered. Her name tag was crooked, so I fixed it for her. She laughed, said, "Thanks." That meant something. It has to. I know what people think of me, but they don't understand. I am not a monster. I'm a good boyfriend. I saw Amy again today. She made me a cappuccino, drew a little heart in the foam. That meant something. It always does. She smiled when I said her name, Amy, like it surprised her that I knew. I told her I noticed it on her name tag. She laughed and said, "You've got good eyes." I do. That's how I found Madison. I don't talk about Madison anymore. People get upset when you live in the past, but sometimes I still think I hear her in my apartment, dripping, dragging, breathing too slow. It's nothing. It's just grief. It's normal. I started following Amy after work. She always walks, always the same route. She takes her earbuds out when crossing the street. Safety girl, smart girl. She lives in a high-rise near the freeway, 6th floor, lots of windows, but she never shuts the blinds. That's how I knew she wanted someone to see her, to understand. She eats pasta 3 times a week, watches reruns on sitcoms, and laughs at the wrong parts. She's lonely. I can feel it. I leave little notes on her doorstep now. Not in my handwriting, of course. I use cut-up letters from magazines, like in those old ransom movies. But I don't ask for anything. I just tell her things like, "You have a beautiful laugh," or "You're stronger than you think." I'm building trust, slowly, like with Madison, but this time it's different. This time, I feel like someone's watching me too. I stayed overnight for the first time Thursday. She left her window cracked open just enough. I slipped in around midnight. She was asleep, wrapped up like a burrito, facing the wall. Her apartment smells like peaches. I sat in the armchair and watched her breathe, counted every inhale, every exhale. Felt like music. She made a soft noise in her sleep, a whimper. I almost got up to hold her, but I didn't want to wake her. I'm not rude. I'm a good boyfriend. The next morning, she looked tired, bags under her eyes. Kept looking over her shoulder on the walk to work. She's sensitive. That's okay. Some people feel love more intensely than others. Later that night, I snuck into her bathroom while she showered. Steam filled the mirror. I didn't say a word. Just stood behind the curtain, listened. She sang the same 3 notes over and over, off-key like a child's lullaby, just like Madison used to. It made my stomach turn, not with fear, with memory. Something felt wrong, like I had already done this. When she pulled the curtain open, I was gone. But I swear, for a second she looked directly where I stood, right into the empty space, right into me. I went home that night and turned on the TV. There was no news, just static. Then a commercial. Madison's face, mouth open, skin waxy. She was smiling. Too wide, like someone had cut the corners of her mouth. The screen said, "I missed you." And then, "Does she know what you did?" I turned off the TV. I sat in the dark, hands over my ears. It's just guilt. It's just stress. It's just... The next morning, Amy had a nosebleed. She wiped it with her wrist and said, "Must be the dry air." Then she stared past me. Even though I wasn't standing there, she looked right through me. That night, I saw something outside her window. A figure. Human-shaped, but all wrong. Too long, too thin. It stood on the fire escape, watching her, watching me. I blinked. It was gone, but when I turned around, her bedroom light was on, even though she had gone to bed hours ago, and there was a message written in the fog on the window. "She's mine." I don't sleep much anymore. I started keeping Amy's toothbrush. I kept it under my pillow. It makes me feel safe. Amy's cat was found dead on our balcony. No blood, no wounds, just stretched like something had unraveled it from the inside. She cried all morning. I watched from across the street. I wanted to comfort her, to hold her, but I also wondered, was that a warning for me? I think Madison is angry, but not about the accident, about Amy. She doesn't want me to move on. She keeps sending me things. The other night, I found her eye in my fridge, just sitting in the butter tray. It blinked at me. I keep seeing her in reflections and shadows, in Amy's expressions. She's changing. Amy, she stopped wearing makeup, stopped brushing her hair. Her voice is lower now, hungrier. Last night she whispered while she slept, "Don't leave me again." I think Amy might be Madison now, or maybe Madison was never real. Or maybe I've always been in love with someone else entirely, someone who exists between people, inside them, through them. I can't break up with her, not this time. She won't let me, and I don't want to, not really. Not when she's finally starting to understand me. She left her door unlocked tonight, just like Madison once did, just like she wanted me to. That means something. It always does. I'm not a monster. I'm a good boyfriend. And good boyfriends, they never leave. Amy hasn't looked at me in days. Not really. She used to glance towards the coffee shop door when it opened, like she was hoping I'd come in. Now she just stares at the register, avoids eye contact, fakes small talk. I think she's scared, but not of me, no. I think she's scared of how much she loves me. Madison was the same way, at first. I haven't gone inside Amy's apartment in weeks, not since the cat, not since she's left her door wide open and sat on her couch like she wanted me to come in, but then screamed and called the cops. I didn't do anything. I stood in the hallway with flowers. She stood there. She never even thanked me for them. The cops showed up 12 minutes later. I timed it. I told them I was her neighbor and got worried when I heard a scream. They believed me because I'm calm. I'm collected. I'm a good boyfriend. Since then, I've been careful. No more break-ins, no more notes. I just watch now. Sometimes through her blinds, sometimes from my car. I keep a logbook. Monday, 8:42 p.m. She eats a granola bar and cries during reruns. Wednesday, 2:15 a.m., she Googles how to stop being watched. Friday, 9:11 p.m., she opens the door, looks around, says, "I know you're out there." She doesn't, but I'm patient. I can wait. I've been hearing things in my wall lately, scratching, hollow tapping. There's a nest, maybe mice or rats, or maybe it's nothing. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's real when you don't sleep. I haven't slept in 11 days. I just lie on the floor, hands over my ears, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Amy's voice, how she sounded when she said, "Get the fuck away from me." She doesn't mean that. She's just confused. I've started keeping her things, little things. A used tissue from the trash, a straw from her coffee cup, a bandage she dropped when she scraped her elbow last week. I keep them in a box under my bed, right next to Madison's toothbrush. I talk to them sometimes. They're the only ones who listen. Yesterday, Amy told her friends she's thinking of moving. I heard it from the alley. They sat outside the cafe, whispering like I couldn't hear them. She says she keeps waking up to stuff moved around, the friend said. Thinks someone's been inside. She's not paranoid. Amy whispered. I know he's still watching me. She means me. And that's okay. At least she still thinks about me. I followed her to her therapist's office, waited in the waiting room, pretended I have an appointment too, sat across from her, didn't say a word. She didn't look up, but her hands shook the whole time. The therapist called her in. She stood up and dropped her pen. I picked it up, held it out, and smiled. She stared at it like it was a snake, took it without touching my hand, whispered, "Why won't you just leave me alone?" I didn't say anything. She wouldn't have believed me if I told her that I'm not here to hurt her, that I love her, that I'm not like the others. I'm a good boyfriend. I started sleeping under her apartment again. There's a crawl space through the maintenance closet. I cleaned it up, made it comfortable. I can hear her walking, crying, pacing. Sometimes she talks to herself. Sometimes she talks to me. At least I think she's talking to me. Last night I dreamt I was inside her skin, like wearing a hoodie made of her. I walked around her apartment. I touched everything she touched. Ate from her bowl. I sat on her couch. Then I looked in the mirror. It wasn't Amy's face. It was Madison's. She was smiling. I woke up screaming, hands shaking, teeth grinding. I scratched at my chest until I bled, just to feel something. I went to the cafe this morning. Amy wasn't there. Her manager said she quit. No forwarding address. No warning. She's gone. I walked outside, looked up at her window. Empty. No light, no shadow, just me, alone on the sidewalk. I waited there until sundown, then midnight, then sunrise. No one came out. No one went in. I think she left me. I cried on the floor of the crawl space for hours, punched the wall, screamed into my palms. I was good to her. I watched her. I protected her. I gave her everything. Just like I did with Madison, and like Madison, she ran. I'm okay. I'm okay. There's a new girl now. She rides the same bus every morning, always takes the same seat. Left side, third row from the back. She reads romance novels and laughs quietly to herself. This morning she wore a sunflower pin in her hair. I told her I liked it. She smiled, said, "Thanks." That means something. It always does. I am not a monster. I'm a good boyfriend. And this time, I'll do it right. She'll see. They all will. Her name is Emily. I heard the bus driver say it once. "Have a good day, Emily." She smiled at him too. She smiles at a lot of people, but not the same way. Her smile for me was longer, slower, grateful. The kind of smile you give someone who's about to change your life. Emily is different. She hums to herself when she reads. She draws little flowers on the margin of her books. She doesn't rush. She lives alone in a gray house near the overpass, third from the end. White curtains, bird feeder out front. I watched her feed the birds once, tiny brown finches. She looked so proud of herself, standing there in her robe, clutching a coffee cup with chipped pink nail polish. She has kind hands. Even her fingers move gently. The first time I followed her home, I stepped on a twig and she turned. Our eyes met for a moment. She didn't scream. She didn't say anything. She just stared. Then she went inside. That's when I knew she was different. This time, I took it slow, measured and precise. I kept my distance. I watched through windows, listened through vents. I didn't go inside for a full month. I waited until I knew her rhythms, her moods, her soul. She writes in a journal every night before bed. I watched her scribble something through the blinds, eyebrows furrowed. Some nights she cries after, wipes her face, lights a candle, holds something close to her chest. Maybe a photo, maybe a memory. I found her journal eventually. She hid it under a loose floorboard near her bed. It smelled like lavender and graphite. I only read a few pages, didn't want to invade her too much. She writes about her mother, about loss, about loneliness. She doesn't mention me. Not yet, but she will. One night I left her a gift, just a single page from a book, pressed flat with a flower, slid gently under her front door. It was a love poem, one about being seen. I didn't sign it. She'd know. She'd feel it. The next morning I watched her find it. She picked it up slowly, read it again. She looked outside, straight ahead, not towards me, but her lips moved. She whispered something, too soft to hear. Might have been, thank you. That was the first time I slept peacefully in months. I started saying inside while she was gone, just for an hour, then 2, then a whole afternoon. I didn't touch much, didn't move anything, just absorbed, soaked in her scent, laid on her couch. Sometimes I'd nap with her blankets over my legs. She smelled like cinnamon and old books, like a memory you forgot you missed. But something changed. Not with her, with me. I stopped watching her to learn about her. I started watching her to check if she noticed me, if she said my name out loud, if she looked over her shoulder like Amy did, but she didn't. She just lived, alone, happy, and it hurt more than it should have. I started leaving more gifts. A necklace I found in a thrift store, a drawing of her I made from memory, a box of tea I saw her buy once. All anonymous, all placed carefully where she'd find them. She started locking her windows, installing cameras, putting up motion lights. She was scared, but not in the right way, not in the romantic way. She didn't understand. One night I walked past her window and saw her on the phone. She was crying, saying things like, I can't do this again, and I don't want to move. I froze, back against the wall. She looked towards the window, lips trembling. I think she felt me, even through the glass, even in the dark. I stayed away for 2 weeks. Didn't watch, didn't listen, didn't breathe. I wanted her to miss me, to realize how empty the world feels without someone who really sees you. But when I came back, her house was different. Colder, curtains closed, lights off early, journal gone. She was closing off. I broke in again. Late, quiet, careful. Her bedroom door was locked. She'd never locked it before. I stood outside it, hand on the knob, listened. No sound, just breathing. Then, something strange. A whisper. My name. Not out loud, but in my head. Like her voice was behind my eyes. You're not real. I opened the door. She was awake, sitting up, waiting. She didn't scream. She just said, "Who are you, really?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. No one had ever asked that. Not even Madison, not even Amy. I stood there, trembling. She watched me like a mirror, like she already knew. "Do you even know your name?" she asked. Then I realized I didn't. I don't. I ran. Didn't grab anything, didn't shut the door, I just ran. That was 3 nights ago. I hadn't eaten since. I've been writing this down in pieces, in stairwells, in alleys, in dark motel bathrooms, trying to remember who I was before her, before all of them. But it's fading. Madison, Amy, Emily, did I love them? Did they love me, or did I just make them up? Last night I had a dream. I was inside a cold room, gray walls, one door, no handle. Emily was there, sitting cross-legged on the floor. She looked up at me and said, "You were never a good boyfriend. You were just lonely." Then she opened her mouth, and Madison's voice came out, then Amy's, and then my own, all saying the same thing. "There is no her. There is only you." I woke up screaming, blood under my nails, scratching on my arms. There was a mirror beside the bed. I walked to it slowly, looked in. The man staring back didn't blink, didn't breathe. He just smiled, and for a second I almost believed he was real. But I have a plan. There's a girl at the library. She's new. She wears her hair like Madison, laughs like Amy, writes like Emily. She dropped her bookmark today. I picked it up, handed it to her. She smiled, said, "Thanks." That means something. It always does. I am not a monster. I am a good boyfriend, even if I'm the only one who remembers that. Her name is Felicia. She reads the same books I do, leaves notes in the margins. She writes little questions in pencil like she wants someone to talk to her. I do. I always answer. I leave my replies when no one's looking, and the next day they're gone. She reads them. She's listening. She looks at me like she knows me. Not like the others, not like Madison or Amy or Emily. Felicia looks at me like I'm already hers. She smiled today when I handed her a bookmark she dropped, a pressed daisy between two laminated hearts. She said, "You remembered." Of course I did. I remember everything about her. The library's strange lately. The same man stands at the desk every day, writing nothing in his notebook, writing nothing in a notebook. The same clock on the wall is always struck at 3:14. The lights flicker when I speak, but Felicia, she's real. She feels like gravity. We started walking together after sunset. She always meets me by the fence. We don't talk much, but her shoulder brushes mine sometimes. She doesn't pull away. Once I told her about Amy. She asked, "What did she say when you told her how you felt?" I paused. I couldn't remember. Did I ever say it? Felicia touched my arm. "It's okay," she said. "You've been through a lot." Yesterday, she said something strange. "We need to leave this place." I laughed, said, "You mean this town?" She looked at me, confused. "No, this place. The facility. Mr. Bauman's watching us." The name chilled me. I didn't know why. "Who's that?" I asked. She looked around us. "Just trust me. He hears through the vents." I nodded, even though I didn't understand. "We've been planning it now. Our escape. She said the east gate is only unlocked for 10 minutes a day during med delivery. We'll slip out then." I asked why she wants to leave. She looked at me, then said, "Because I finally found someone who sees me." Last night, I had a dream. I was in a white room, bare walls, fluorescent lights, a clipboard on the bed with my name on it. Except it wasn't my name. It said Patient 113B, Halverson. I woke up with blood under my fingernails. I don't remember scratching. Felicia came to me crying this morning. She said, "They're transferring me." She said I'm not allowed to see them anymore. I didn't understand. We're not doing anything wrong. We're in love. She grips my hands hard, too hard, tears in her eyes. "You can't forget," she said. "They'll try to wipe it all away again." "Again? What do you mean again?" I asked. She stared at me like I was breaking her heart. "You've done this before. With Madison, with Amy, with Emily, and you always forget." I felt the air go cold, felt the words press in from the walls. She leaned in and whispered, "This place, it's not what you think. You never left. You've never left." I don't remember getting sedated. I just remember waking up in a new room, smaller, grayer, no windows. A man stands outside the door, scribbling on a clipboard. Mr. Ballman. I recognize him now. He's not a neighbor, he's not a stranger, he's my doctor. And I remember the truth. Madison wasn't my girlfriend, she was my therapist. Amy, too, Emily, one by one, they came into my life, not because I loved them, but because they were assigned to treat me. And one by one, they left. Not because they didn't understand me, because I made them afraid. Because I watched them, I wrote about them, followed them. Because I was in love, but I was just sick. I'm reading my own journal now. The first entry says, progress is slow. Still detached from reality, believes past psychiatrics were romantic partners, exhibits delusion of love, persecution, and identity, refers to self as a good boyfriend, monitored under full-time psychiatric hold, no release scheduled. Felicia's page is newer. She wrote, patient 113 is intelligent, kind when calm, has creative potential. I see something good in him. I believe he's more than his illness. Maybe, with time, he could be someone I'd care for. I shouldn't write that. I'm transferring soon. I'll miss him. I sit on my bed now. No pen, no paper, just a memory of a girl who smiled when I handed her a bookmark. The memory of a daisy or a library, of someone who, for a moment, really saw me. And maybe she wasn't like the others. Maybe she meant it. Even if I'll never know. They're coming now. Mr. Ballman has the needle. I close my eyes. I breathe deep. I know what they think. What they've always thought. What they don't understand. They never did. I'm not a monster. I'm a good boyfriend.